Hey everyone, this is J7Jace, bringing you a guide for Deep Dungeon, aka Midlight's Deep. Even though it's dark and depressing, you can get many rare items and even one-of-a-kind items here. You can fight the game's Superboss and learn Zodiark to master Summoner, and even recruit the unique Biblos monster. I personally think Zodiark is too slow to cast, even though it hits hard, and Biblos isn't that great, because he doesn't do a lot of damage and isn't fast. But if you're a completionist, this place is for you. To unlock this location, you need to finish the battles at Malone Cathedral, so once you defeat Selbag, then go to Wargelis. You will see a funny scene at the bar. After this scene ends, it will open up a new path. Midlight's Deep has a total of 10 floors, which you have to discover, and nearly all battles are considered random battles, which means the exact lineup of enemies will vary each time. It also means that you don't have to deploy Ramza. The only exception to this is the initial encounter on the last floor versus the game's superboss Elidibus. Aesthetically, this place is very dark, but a way to work around this, to help see better, is to have the teleport movement ability equipped so you can see where you can move. I also recommend teleport as most of the stages here aren't flat, so being able to move from various heights will be better than move plus 3 or move plus 2. Just move within your character's move stat, and don't be too gutsy with teleport to be safe. Enemies who turn into crystals will also brighten up the area as well, so you can take a better look at the place. For party setups and builds for the first 9 floors, there are endless possibilities and setups you can use. If you want a team that is able to tackle and kill the monsters you encounter while being able to gather all the rare items and find the exits, here is a composition I like using. If you're playing on the mobile version of War of the Lions though, an easy way to tackle Midlight's Deep is to equip all your characters with Brave Suit, Grand Armor, and Brigand's Glove. All you need to do is beat the main story and then check the Poacher's Den to buy these items. But if you aren't on the mobile version, here are some builds and characters I like using. Beowulf is very good at taking out enemies with his break, and his sleep is fantastic at keeping one enemy alive while you find the exit tile. Just make sure to raise his faith to 94 to increase the success of his Spellblade skills. Also, we want Chicken Learn to help decrease the bravery of another party member that will be your treasure hunter. For his abilities and equipment, use what you want, but I like items just in case someone dies due to doom or is affected by a negative status ailment. And of course, teleport. In order to use Spellblade, he needs a sword or nightsword equipped, so Runeblade at the shop is more than good enough, and I like a robe for the extra MP, and Terminus boots is adequate and it's nice so he can teleport more successfully. For your second character, I recommend Orlandu or Grias here. Both are great, but it's up to you. Orlandu has more speed, power, and mobility. However, if you can get the female items like Ribbon, Tiner Rouge, or Chantage, Grias can be more versatile against enemies and traps that can cause negative status ailments. However, you can also use both if you want. But Balthier is another fantastic choice as he is fast and can do great with attacking with his guns or jump build. Elidibus is also solid, but definitely use Beowulf and 2 of these other characters. For your last 2 party members, I like to use Rafa as my treasure hunter and a red or black chocobo for mobility. For Rafa, lower her bravery to 11 using Beowulf's chicken, then for her equipment use Invisibility Cloak or Ninja Gear plus Chantage, and give her the ability Treasure Hunter. But if you want, you could always have Beowulf lower Rafa's bravery in battle while she is on the chocobo. Just make sure her permanent bravery doesn't reach 5 or less, or she is going to leave forever. You can get Invisibility Cloak on this tile right here at Mount Terminus. In the PlayStation 1 version, and in War of the Lions Mobile, it is one of a kind, so if you fail to get this item, make sure you don't save over your main save file. Ninja gear can be stolen in the side quest Disorder in the Order, along with a few other rare items if you're playing on the War of the Lions version. This is also a very rare item and limited if you can't do multiplayer. Just make sure to steal it. The black chocobo is great because it has fly, and the red chocobo is great for ignore height. We will use Rafa to mount the chocobo, and with invisible, even if she gets on the chocobo, she will still be invisible. Just make sure she doesn't do any actions. In short, for these 9 fights, we are going to use Beowulf and your 2 other characters to get rid of the enemies by killing them outright or using break. Then to leave at least one enemy alone by either crippling them in some way with a negative status element like sleep, or even Balthier's leg shot works. Then we will attempt to find the exits and rare items for each level. These fights are different than your typical ones though, because not only do you have to beat the enemies on each level, but you also have to find the exit to open the next level. If you kill all the enemies without finding the exit, you'll just be kicked back to the map, and you have to replay the level before you can advance. To find the exit, you simply have to move a character onto the tile that contains the exit, at which point you'll get a message telling you that you found a passage leading deeper. Once you finish off the remaining enemies and return to the world map, you'll be able to select the next floor. You do not need Treasure Hunter equipped to find the exits. To make things a bit more complicated though, each time you enter a level, the exit is randomly placed on one of 5 possible tiles. Bear in mind that the exit can only be found on one of these 5 tiles, not every single one of them. Remember, the battle ends when you KO the last enemy, and if you didn't find the exit, you'll have to replay that level. So you need to find the exit before you KO that last enemy. I have a video on all the exit locations for each floor, so please check out the description or the comments to find that video. If you want to treasure hunt for the rare items on each floor, I also have a video where they are all located. Here are some warnings though. While Rafa is on the Chocobo, she can't pick up items. She has to dismount in order to use Treasure Hunter. Just note that you don't need Treasure Hunter equipped to find the exit tiles. When it comes to treasure hunting, you can always go back to the tiles that you missed, as long as you or an enemy didn't pick up any items. Once in a blue moon, an enemy will have Treasure Hunter as their movement ability, and they can also pick up items. Either reset the fight or take care of this enemy quickly, because bad luck can happen and some of these items are one of a kind, like Lordly Robe and Maximilian. So I highly suggest saving often or resetting if you fail to get the item, as several of these are missable and can no longer be obtained. Also, if you haven't already, I have a detailed video on every single missable item in all versions of Final Fantasy Tactics in the description and comments, so I highly recommend checking that out as well. But for the too long didn't read for Midlight's Deep, for the complete missables here, you want to grab Zeus Mace from the Hollow, Rod of Faith and Kaiser Shield from the Catacombs, Ego Blade on the Oubliette, Ninja Gear and Cursed Ring from the Palings, Staff of the Magi from the Crossing, Lordly Robe and Perseus Bow from the Switchback, and lastly, for the 9th floor, Venetian Shield, Grand Helm, and Maximilian. Unfortunately, once either item is taken from a tile, so the rare item or Phoenix Down, both of the tile's items are gone forever. If you don't care about treasure hunting though, feel free to scrap Rafa and the Chocobo and use 2 characters that you like better. And for the first 9 floors, because they are random battles, the difficulty can vary greatly depending on your luck with the enemies, but a High Faith Beowulf and High Bravery Orlandu, Agrias, and Melidal can take and get rid of some of the strongest enemies. Just remember not to KO the final enemy unless you find the exit. And if you happen to get inflicted by a negative status ailment though, or if a character gets knocked out, make sure to have Phoenix Downs and remedies just in case. This process and journey will take a while, but once you're on the 10th floor or unlock the level called the Terminus, this is where I recommend not using Rafa and the Chocobo, assuming you're treasure hunting. I also recommend saving into a different save file as well, if you want to repeat this boss fight, or just in case you miss out on learning the Zodiark summon. I have a very detailed video on how you want to learn this with a party of 5 summoners, but in short, it's to have everyone be summoner with pretty decent HP, have an item that will make you immune to frog and poison, then equip Mana Shield and Mana Font, and to use Arithmetics and Holy to kill all the Reavers. Only one summoner can learn Zodiark at a time, and there is around a 90% chance you can learn this ability. Your unit just has to survive the attack. I also have a link to this in the description and comments, so please check it out for more specifics. Here are some things to take note of though for this fight. This is considered a story battle, so you'll have to deploy Ramza. And if you want to learn the Zodiark summon, this is your only opportunity to learn this in the single player game, and you'll need to deploy someone who is a summoner. This can be Ramza or anyone of your choosing. A guest also joins you in this battle called the Biblos. Like most guests, he won't provide a lot of help, but this is the only time and place you can recruit this monster, so keep him alive to be a good person and a completionist. There's no exit to be found here, it's just a confrontation with Elidibus and many Reavers, aka Pandas. He is up top, so you'll have to fight your way up past the Reavers, or you could always teleport up top faster to reach him, but this method isn't the best way to learn Zodiark. The easiest way to approach this is to KO all the Reavers at once by using Arithmetics with Holy with a High Faith character, equipped with an item that boosts Holy damage and Arcane Strength. Just make sure not to do more than 2700 damage to Elidibus before learning Zodiark, and to revive the Biblos if he gets knocked out. Because Bio can cause negative status ailments, bring abilities like Remedy, Isuna, or Purification to remove these. Or you can always use females equipped with Ribbon. While the boss has a lot of HP, he is kinda slow, so you can probably reach him fairly quick. Elidibus has several attacks he can use. His most dangerous, in my opinion, is Poisonous Frog, which poisons and toads you, so you want Ribbon or Japa Mala equipped. Then he has Zodiark, which does a ton of damage, but it has a very slow cast time. Then Midgard hits fairly hard, and it ignores Faith. Lastly, he has Snake Charm and can physically attack you, but these attacks are really weak in my opinion. From my experience, he tends not to use these last two abilities unless they have a very low HP character within range that he can finish off. But an easy way to learn Zodiark, and of course more importantly, counter any kind of damage, is by using Mana Shield as your reaction ability and then Mana Font for your movement ability. As long as you have at least 1 MP, you will be protected. Just make sure your bravery stat is high for best results and pray for good RNG. When it comes to fighting him, Arithmetics can be great at dealing damage, but of course you could always use sword skills as they are amazing, like Crush Armor and Hollowed Bolt. I also don't recommend using any kind of ice attacks as he's immune to this element. However, he can be inflicted by a few negative status ailments, you can use Slower Stop to slow him down, or Atheist to disable his magic. Just note that you can't learn Zodiark if he's an Atheist. Another strategy is to put Equip Heavy Armor on a summoner to increase their HP, try to rend his magic attack stat with Arts of War. I still prefer Mana Shield and Mana Font, but it's another way you could survive Zodiark. He isn't the most challenging super boss or boss in the game in my opinion. The most difficult part is learning Zodiark. After this battle, you can return to Terminus if you want, the treasure hunt for Chaos Blade and Chidi Jidoden, which are at the top where Elidibus was. And if you want to poach more swine, or if you want to entice them, this is a good location for this. And if you like the 3-headed Hydra family, you can also encounter greater Hydras and Tiamats here. I hope this video and my other videos help you out when coming to Midlight's Deep. It's not my favorite place, but if I made your experience easier in this location, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Take care, and all the best.